Shipwrecked, the amazing adventures of Louis de Rougemont, as told by himself.
My name is John Moon, and I'm the director for the production of Shipwrecked. It's being produced at Barksdale Theatre. And my role in this is pretty much one of conceptualizing the show and how it's ultimately going to look and feel for an audience. I don't do all of that work by myself, obviously. I have a design team that I work with and collaborate with and help them achieve the vision of the show as I see it. The thing that's really interesting about this show is it's really a play about the nature of storytelling and how important stories are in our lives. It's also something of a celebration of the theatrical art. The thing that's fun about theater is that it's an art form that relies on an audience's imagination as much as spectacle. But it also is about a man who chooses to live in something of a fantasy and how that story of his life kind of nurtures him, and how those stories also make us feel good too.
Silvery dolphins escort us on either side, racing and leaping as we slice through the water.
Shipwrecked is a particularly interesting play to work on because the playwright, in this case Donald Margulies, was commissioned to write this play and became really interested in the character, who was a real person that lived in the 19th century. And his idea for the play really celebrates that kind of old-fashioned theatricality. And Margulies makes very careful notes in the beginning of his edition of the play to stress for directors and actors that want to produce it that it really should stay away from appearing too modern or use too many high-tech solutions for things. Now, the thing that's interesting about that is, while it's a nice idea, it's not something that can always be accomplished. I think my goal as a director is to take that impulse by the playwright and try to solve it and make it happen. But if I have a high-tech solution at my disposal that can do that, I will use it. There's a terrific example in the beginning of the play where Louis de Rougemont, who is the main character, describes the title of the show. An actor backstage then is supposed to crank a gramophone, and a fanfare is supposed to be heard over this scratchy old gramophone. Well, the truth is, you can look high and low for gramophones these days, but there are not many that are really going to give you the sound that you need. So that's essentially going to have to be a constructed sound that is going to made to appear to come from a gramophone. So it'll be a high-tech solution for something that looks fairly low-tech.
Told by himself. Chapter 1, in which the seeds of adventure are sown.
Every director is a little different. There's a type of director that is often known as an auteur director, who has a very strong vision, personal artistic vision of what the theatrical event should be, and they, in effect, put that stamp on every play they do, no matter what they do. And then there are other directors that try to say that all they're doing is serving the playwright, that they really are just there to serve the vision of the writer.
Oh! Okay, that went out already?
Yeah, that's gone already. Yeah, that went out.
Okay, that's fine. I just need to adjust the timing.
I probably fall a little bit in between, but lean more towards trying to service the playwright. My personal feeling is that theater at its heart, with so many people involved, is an interpretive act. There is no way that I can't bring my own vision of what the world is and what the world is like to my work. I just can't step away from that. We all are individuals, and we all have a way of looking at the world, and that colors the way we perceive things. So while I can be very specific in my textual analysis, in deciding, okay, this is what I think he's going for, the structure of the play seems to demand this kind of approach, and this seems to be the overall effect. At some point I have to just pull back and rely on my own instincts to go, this works, this doesn't. This is a good moment, this needs to be fixed somehow. And that's based on a lot of experience. I've, not only, for many years I was an actor before I became a director, so my experience as a director in terms of working with actors is one of teaching them the show, and then stepping back and letting them teach the show back to me. So in that way, working with actors, I think, is very much a collaborative process. I'm still their guiding hand, but at a certain point, the actors know the show better than I do. So that's kind of a fun part of it. And quite naturally, that's where I step out as a director. That's when I have to go, okay, well, I'm sending the kids off to college, and they're on their own now.
Bruno and I grow accustomed to our new home. We gradually lose the fear of unfamiliar things. The strange becomes familiar.